Hey folks, it's Dr. Marcia of Just Move Therapy, and your neighborhood physical therapist is here to tell you the difference between mobility, flexibility, and stability. Let's talk about it. So what's the difference and why does it matter that you know the difference? It's hard out here on the internet. Everybody uses everything. Anybody could learn anything on the internet and repeat it back to you, and you have no idea if it's legit or not at the end of the day. So let's explain the difference. Number one, mobility. Mobility could actually mean two separate things. We could be talking about joint mobility, or we could be talking about functional mobility. If somebody's talking about functional mobility, they're talking about, can you get up out of the car without using your hands, up from the toilet, pick up your shoe from the floor, tie your shoes, take the groceries from the car to inside. Everyday things. Do you have trouble with it? How do you move around? Mobility. If you're talking about joint mobility, then we're talking about how does your joint move around. It could either be hyper, moves too much, just right, Goldilocks, or it moves too little, hypo. So hypermobile, normal, or hypomobile. So for me, for example, I am hypermobile. There's no reason that this joint should allow me to bring my thumb to my wrist. It's gross. There's no reason for that. That joint is hypermobile. So moving on to stability. Stability is talking about the muscles and the strength of those muscles. How that relates is that'll give you stability around the joint. So somebody like me with hypermobile joints needs stronger muscles to keep those joints in check. So if your muscles are weak, then that's when you can get instability. Flexibility is the muscle length. So when you hear someone saying they are stiff or tight, usually they're talking about muscle flexibility. So if you have tight muscles that don't allow your joint to move where it should move, or pull your joint in the wrong direction, that's how you can run into issues biomechanically. Your body is physics. When it comes down to it, it's levers and angles, and this should move that way, and this should move that way, and everything's supposed to be just so. We know nothing's ever just so. So that's the difference. So continuing my example, in my hand you can see, like I said, my thumb joint here is hypermobile. So if these muscles surrounding my joint are weak, then this joint will be extra unstable. So when I go to grip something, if these muscles aren't strong enough, this joint is going to do whatever it wants and go all over the place. And it could be just the opposite problem, where my muscles could be too tight and it doesn't allow my joint to move where it needs to be. And it's important to note that all of these terms, mobility, flexibility, stability, can be a totally different story by body part. So how I showed you my thumb, I can't do that with my hips. I can't even do splits. Muscles around my hips are inflexible. So I don't have to worry about my hips popping out. That's a whole different story. So hopefully that makes sense. And that's also why it's important to make sure that when you are addressing any movement issues, problems with pain or anything like that, that you see a physical therapist, because a physical therapist understands joint by joint what should be moving, what shouldn't be moving, what muscles need to be strong, what muscles need to be loosened, and that's how we choose the right exercise to help you move better. That make sense? If it did, make sure you hit that thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell for more notifications. Feel free to comment anything else you'd like me to explain. For now, I'm just going through my common FAQs that I get day to day in my DMs on Instagram at Just Move Therapy. So feel free to drop different suggestions below. Laters.